Chairs No Waiting, episode number 444, getting ready for Mayberry Days 2017. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and check out some of the new Mayberry items they got. The one I'm excited about is the Mayberry pennant. Now, it's real similar to a pennant that came out in 1992, but it is a little different. But it's the same size. You'll love it. They were going for $35 on eBay. They're not that much on Weavers. You can also get a Opie slingshot. That's another new thing. All kinds of cool stuff over at Weavers. Go and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by the support of people just like you. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to support this show, which I hope you would, and keep me being able to make all these things for you and the podcasts and the websites and all the different things, head over to Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com, and you can become a patron of the show. Right now I only have 11, so I'm getting $32 an episode, and then, of course, there's fees. Anyway, hey, do that if you can. If you can't, spread the word. Tell people about the show. Spread the word about Mayberry and all the different things out there. It still kills me when I run across people who have never heard about imayberry.com, the many websites that are out there, the stuff on Facebook, the stuff all over the place that's all Mayberry related, and these poor folks don't even know about it. I don't know what we've got to do, but keep spreading the Mayberry love out there. Folks, this episode, we're going to be talking about Mayberry Days. Now, if you guys have never been, Mayberry Days is absolutely awesome. I love all the Mayberry events. I hope nobody gets upset about this, but Mayberry Days is the big Mayberry event of the year. It's held in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and put on by the Surrey Arts Council. Surrey Arts, that's the county, Surrey County, there in North Carolina. And Mayberry Days is just, it's a fan festival. So the people who come to Mayberry Days are normally huge fans of the Andy Griffith Show. They just come year after year after year. It's the same group of people, and with additional people coming too. But you will, if you begin to come, you will see people every year that are people you saw last year and 5 years ago and 10 years ago. They continue to come, and it's not just for Mayberry Days. It's almost like a big family reunion. Now, Mayberry Days is this coming weekend as I record it. It's going to be it's the 18th through the 24th of September, 2017. It's always the last full weekend of September. Now, by full, that means that there's no October at the end of the weekend. So in other words, if the 1st of October happened to be on a Sunday, it's the weekend before, which I think is pretty much the case this year. Where Sunday is the 1st of October, the last Sunday. Well, it's not the last Sunday. The last day of September is on Saturday. So it's the week before that. So is that confusing? The last full weekend of September is always Mayberry Days. So mark it on your calendar. Gosh, I've been telling people this forever. And I realize there's school teachers, there's people who just cannot make it because of things like that. Oh, I hate it for you because you would just love it so much. It is always such an amazing, amazing event. It just gets into your blood. It gets into your heart, and then you just want to go and see people again. So we got people that are going to be first timers, and I kind of envy you for that because it's, I remember the first time I went to Mayberry Days with my wife and I went, Jan, it was 1993. And we had kind of tried to figure out what we were going to do. I didn't really know. I'd seen some pictures before. And so we went out and had T-shirts made that were Vernus T. Bass and this stuff, because our local chapter here in Huntsville, Alabama is Mother Figure. You be my mother figure. Oh, that's our chapter. And so we had our T-shirts made and it had Mother Figure, Huntsville, Alabama written on it. And so we wore our T-shirts to Mayberry Days during the events on Friday and Saturday. And I'm glad we did, because during the weekend, we actually met people in the parade. They were coming down the parade. Here they come in Emmett's Fix-It truck. They're in the back of it, riding down through there. They got the sign on the side of the truck that says, says the hearty eating men and beautiful, delicate women chapter of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Well, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, so we start going, hey, Tuscaloosa. And they say, hey, Alabama, Huntsville. Hey. That turned out to be Ken Junkin, the guy who does Otis with me. He goes around all over the place, our great friend, and his entire chapter of the Andy Griffith Show Rio Notchers Club. So we met at Mayberry Days and have been amazing friends over the many years since that day. And that's the kind of people you're able to meet at Mayberry Days. And it's something that keeps you going back to meet more people like that and to just enjoy yourself. So I just want to tell you, you need to go and check it out. Now you can go to mayberrydays.com. And when you go there, it'll take you to the Surrey Arts Council's Mayberry Days page. And it says celebrating the Andy Griffith Show in Mount Airy, North Carolina. And when you go, there is a schedule. If you click on the schedule, it'll take you to let you look at every day. And this used to just be really a 2-day event. It was Friday and Saturday, and they had a golf tournament, which they still do, on Thursday. So it kind of started on Thursday and went along. Mayberry Days continues to expand. So they really have events that actually started Monday, September 18th. They started having some things, like they have the John Floyd's the guy's name. He's the mouth of Mayberry. He's a comedian. He's been doing shows. He started doing shows on Monday, and he'll be doing more shows on Tuesday. There's stuff going on Wednesday. There's the Old Time Music Heritage Hall. They're having an event there. There's stuff going on. The Caribbean Chillers are going to be at the Blackman Theater on Wednesday. And that's before Mayberry Days even really kicks off completely. But if you go to mayberrydays.com, click on the schedule, you'll see all this stuff. So the day really kind of starts off for us anyway on a Thursday. Now, next week, when I get back from Mayberry Days, I'm going to give you a report. I would love to hear from all of you guys that go to Mayberry Days. You give me your reports. Call in at 888-684-8415. Give us some of your memories from that Mayberry Days weekend, and we can play those on the podcast and give people just a little taste of what it's like to go to these events. You can, beginning on Thursday, I believe you can start going over to the post office and get the postmark for Mayberry Days. They make a brand new postmark every year, and you can get you a card and get it stamped. And it's collections. They do them slightly different every year. It's a different postmark, so you can go check that out. The golf tournament starts at 12:30. It's called the Emmett, as the name of the Mayberry Days golf tournament. It's over at Cross Creek Country Club. If you don't play golf, you don't have to go do that, but it is fun. And this is a really nice thing. On Thursday at 2:30, Margaret Carey. You remember Margaret Carey? Played Tinkerbell, or she was the Tinkerbell live action model, but she was also, she was somebody else. So I'll tell you what, I got this really nice call today. So I think you guys might want to hear this.
Hello there, this is Margaret Carey, and I'm also known as Bess Muggins and also known as Helen Scobie, and I am headed your way. We get on the plane tomorrow, my son Eric Norquist and I, and we're headed towards Mount Airy and Mayberry, and we're going to do a show for you. But most of all, what we're thrilled about is we're going to be with Mayberry folks. You guys, there is a tenderness that comes through with you all, and so we look forward to it each year to come and see you. I will be at the Earl Theater. Tanya Jones decided that she would take a chance and let us perform at the Earl Theater Thursday at 2:30, I do believe. But I just can hardly wait to see you, and we will have such fun. And Tinkerbell will be along with me, I'm sure, and some books that I have and things. But blessings on all of you, and say hey when you see me. This is Margaret Carey.
All right. Thank you, Margaret, for giving us a call. Margaret Carey, a great, sweet, sweet lady. She's going with us on the Mayberry Cruise this year. So we're going to be able to interview her, and hopefully I'll have that interview recording of it here on the podcast sometime in the future. Thank you, Margaret, for calling. I can't wait to see you and Eric. Eric's her son. Eric, he and George Lindsay Jr., Gooberson, as he calls it, Gooberson. They do stuff together. They act and perform together. And so there's a Mayberry connection even with Eric. So we have all kinds of Mayberry connections here with Margaret, with Tinkerbell, all that stuff. Everything that will be occurring, as she mentioned, is going to be at 2:30 on Thursday, 2:30 at the Earl Theater. So you can go and listen to Margaret. She's it's always a lot of fun to hear Margaret. She's a sweet lady, and you're really going to enjoy it. But that's just on Thursday. Folks, Mayberry Days is just kind of starting off. There's the Mayberry Days dinner on Thursday night. There's other things going on. Go and check out the schedule. Friday, though, is when we really kind of start getting started. So I don't want you to miss this because they moved it a couple of years ago. I think they moved the mayor's proclamation earlier in the day. It used to be later in the day on Friday. I mean, later, I mean like 10 or 11. And now the mayor's proclamation starts at 9:30 on Friday morning. So that's when everything really kind of kicks off. That's when Mayberry Days becomes official, because the mayor reads a proclamation declaring the next couple of days, Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina. That's at 9:30. That's a great chance if you come to the events. This is a great chance for you to actually see all the cast members, because cast members will all be at this event, unless something happens and they can't make it for some reason. But they all show up to the proclamation where the mayor reads the proclamation. They'll all be there, and you'll be able to take pictures from a distance at a minimum. So you'll at least be able to see any of the cast members, and all the tribute artists will be there. City officials, the mayors, all those people will be looking for voters. Voters? Did you say vote? Yeah, voters. They'll all be there as well. So head to the mayor's proclamation. Now that's at the Blackman Amphitheater. If you've never been to Mount Airy, it won't take you long to figure out how to get around. Most of the events are right there on Main Street at the Andy Griffith Playhouse and the museum, that area, or across the street from the Mayberry Museum, the Andy Griffith Museum and the Andy Griffith Playhouse. Across the street there, that's where the Blackman Theater is down the hill. So everything's in that area, and then over in Main Street. So those are the areas you're going to want to go to. All kinds of events, fun events for everybody. There's the Aunt Bee's Bake Sale. There's a Pickle Land, which I think is a kids' play area. Mr. Tucker's apple peeling contest will be going on Friday all day. So, it's a slow time. You can spend from 9:30 to 6 p.m. peeling an apple. So if you're a dedicated apple peeler, you can do that. Karen Knotts, Don Knotts' daughter, she's going to be doing her Deputy's Daughter show at 11:30 a.m. over at the Earl. That's definitely something you might want to go and check out. The Doug Dillard Tribute Show, which is Rodney Dillard, will be doing his show at 1 o'clock on Friday at the Andy Griffith Playhouse. Ronnie Shell, he'll be doing a show. It's called Third Time Around, Funnier Than Ever is the name of the show. It's at 1:30 over at the Earl. So if you're not getting all this straight, don't worry about it. You can look at the website to find out. And when you get to town in Mount Airy, you'll also be able to pick up a little newspaper that's called the Mayberry Confidential. Almost every business will have them sitting around in there. I know the Snappy Lunch will. Floyd's Barbershop will probably have them. The Mayberry on Main, I know they will have them. So go over there and check things out. Go over and look at all the cool stuff that they have at Mayberry on Main. Great place to go by. They're going to be having a pork chop eating contest. So if you'd like to be in the pork chop eating contest, that's on Friday from 12:30 to 1:30. And I don't know if they do it again on Saturday or not, but there's a pork chop eating contest. I believe the winner in past years have eaten like 5 or 6 pork chop sandwiches, which I cannot imagine. I can't eat. I mean, maybe I might could eat 2, but I'd be hurting. So anyway, this is Wiley's Tea Parties at 1 o'clock at the Chamber of Commerce building. There's a pie eating contest. Now here's where we start getting into the serious stuff, folks. At Friday, we're just into Friday. Goodness, I got to get through this. So Friday at 3:30, that's when the Mayberry Minutemen Youth Trivia begins. Okay, so that's the trivia for youth. Forgot what the age limit is. I think it's 12 or 13, maybe 14. I'm not sure. So check in the confidential. It'll give that information. That's at 3:30. And then at 4:30, we're having the World Championship of Andy Griffith Show Trivia. So this is a fun event. It's being done slightly different this year, and last year it was done different. So we're going to have all past champions will be able to go into round 2. So they're in the finals, kind of. The first part of the trivia for the World Championship of Andy Griffith Show Trivia is open. So anybody can participate except past champions. They can't. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, I think I have 12 spots. Maybe it's 10. I can't remember. But we can have that number, let's say 10. If we have 6 champions in the past that are there for Mayberry Days, then we have 4 open slots. So in this first part, you'll be able to compete against all the other people that are not champions to get a spot on stage to compete in the finals. Now, the finals are going to be run kind of similar to Jeopardy. So questions will be asked. First person to buzz in gets to try to answer, and then they got to keep score, all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Come and watch it. It'll be a great time. If you're a member of the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter, that's the internet chapter of the Andy Griffith Show, following the World Championship of Andy Griffith Show Trivia, come over and get your picture made. So that's if you're a Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board member. If you're a podcast listener, I want to invite you as well, because what we're trying to do is get people who are online with one another but don't know what each other looks like, because you just email each other or chat with one another or something like that. So this is a great way for us to get everybody together. We'll be getting together to take a picture right after the trivia is over, if you're looking at the stage, over to the left of the stage. So it's the east side of the Blackman Theater. So that's where we'll be. So make times and plans to be there. If you're not into trivia, if you don't like trivia, or even if you just love bluegrass type music or Christian music as well, Leroy Mack is doing a great bluegrass Mayberry style show at the Andy Griffith Playhouse, also at 4:30. So choose wisely as to which one of those you'd like to go to. Folks, again, there's more stuff. James Gregory's going to be doing a show on Friday. The VW boys, who you guys hear all the time when I'm playing my my voiceover music, my background music here when I'm playing it like these. And I might as well play that while I'm doing it. That's the VW boys. They're going to be doing a show Friday night at 9:30 at the Earl Theater. So that is something you don't want to miss either. Man, there's so much good at Mayberry Days. No wonder I'm so tired when it's over. Saturday morning, the Mayberry Days Parade at Main Street starts at 9 o'clock. There's Andy Griffith Museum is obviously open. There's horseshoe pitching going on. The silent auction for the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter to raise money to keep Mayberry Days going. It starts at 10 o'clock and runs till noon out in front of the Andy Griffith Playhouse. So you can pick up some amazingly neat Mayberry items, which I can't see one real close to me to grab, but they have all kinds of really cool stuff there that you can bid on and hopefully win. And all the money goes to support the Surrey Arts Council and Mayberry Days. So go and check that out. It is awesome. Jeff Kuntz does a great job putting that together, by the way. There's autographs. They'll be doing autographs with some of the cast members. Will be down below the Andy Griffith Museum in what they call the Andy Griffith Museum Theater. Head down there and check that out as well. Get you some autographs from the cast members. Karen Knotts is doing a second show. This one's called Tying Up in Knots. Her first one was about her dad. This one's just more of a comedy show. There's a Mayberry Idol. The Chester Jones Checker Tournament will be going on. The Goober Says Hey Bell Toss. Hay Bell Toss. You can do that. I've never done that one. Goober said, man, Goober's throwing hay bales again. There's a Cornhole Toss Championship. And then at 2 o'clock, the Professor Brower's lecture and the Andy Griffith Show Real Ranchers Club meeting. That's always a great event to go to. Also at 2 o'clock is the matinee performance for Colonel Tim's Talent Time. And then after that, 7:30 p.m., Colonel Tim's Talent Time, the later edition. They're pretty much the same show, but they're always different. So you could actually go to both shows and get 2 different shows. Even though we try to make them the same, they're not. Folks, that's just some of what's going on Sunday morning. There's a Mayberry Chapel at 9:30. Of course, you can go to the visitor center. Just go and check out the schedule because there is so much going on at Mayberry Days. Great event. I just cannot encourage you enough trying to go and see this great event. I have such a great time. It has been such a blessing to me all these years going back and being a part of Mayberry Days. It's just always so fun. Now, if you see Floyd running around, be sure and go over and say hey to Floyd because he digs you and you can dig him right back. And I would love to see you. Let's see. Was there anything else I was going to tell you about? Yes, there is. We're still not done. Can you believe it? That's because every week we've been getting great reports from our friend Randy Turner. Yes, Randy Turner. Everybody enjoyed last week's intro, so I'm going to play it again. So let's take this away. Here we go.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by Special Correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Goober Pile Comic Book Literary Guild for the Mayberry Historical Society.
It's Ernest T. Bass.
Ernest T. What?
How do you do, Randy Turner?
I'm not Randy Turner. I'm the announcer. What do you mean you're not Randy Turner?
I'm here to meet Randy Turner. I like him because he learns me a lot.
Yeah.
When I listen to him right here on this hair contraption.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
good.
he helps me with my true love romance.
Well, that's sweet.
I want to meet him. If you don't let me meet him,
I'm going to pick up this here rock and hit it right through their window.
No, you won't.
I will.
I won't.
Will.
I won't.
Will.
watch me.
Now, Ernest.
Randy Turner, where are you?
He's strange, this one.
Reta Shaw was born on September the 13th, 1912. Reta played escaped convict Maud Tyler, who with Naomi and Sally held Floyd and Barney, or Al as they like to call him, captive at O'Malley's cabin. She was later Eleanor Poultice, Barney's voice teacher, who thought he could be another Leonard Blush. But if you are a fan of classic television, you have undoubtedly seen her in many series, as she remained a busy character actress her entire career. Reta began working as a nightclub entertainer on the local stage and in local radio while living in her home state of Maine, later joining the American Red Cross and performing her act for troops deployed in Europe. After the war, she moved to New York and worked on the stage, eventually finding great success in 1949 when she originated the role of Lady Phyllis Beekman in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, starring Carol Channing. The show ran for 2 years, and Reta reprised her role in the national tour. In 1952, she made her first appearance on television. Rita's matronly appearance and deep voice led her to generally play authoritarians and domineering wives. She also played a large number of housekeepers. She continued to work in television and on the stage, and in 1954 originated another classic role, Mabel in The Pajama Game, a role she reprised in the 1957 film version. Even though she continued to have a successful stage career, the demand for her skills as a character actress caused her to make the permanent move to Los Angeles and pursue a film and television career in earnest. In May 1960, Reta appeared in her first Disney film, Pollyanna, as Tilly Lagerlof, the cook for the title character's household. That fall, she played 2 recurring roles as housekeepers in 2 series. In 1962, Reta played escaped convict Maud Tyler, who along with Naomi and Sally held Barney and Floyd captive in Convicts at Large. The following year, Reta filmed her role as Mrs. Brill, the cook for the Banks residence in the classic Disney film Mary Poppins, the story of a magical and loving nanny who arrived carried by the wind. In February 1964, Reta appeared in Mayberry again as the antithesis of her previous role. She played Eleanora Poultice, Barney's vocal coach, who gave him an A in breathing. While she continued to appear frequently in episodic television, she had another role for which she is especially remembered. In the 1966 Don Knotts vehicle, The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, as the domineering occultist wife of the town banker. But the television role for which she is best remembered is that of Martha Grant, the housekeeper in the 1968 to 1970 series The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, which was set in Rita's home state of Maine. The story involved a lovely widow and her 2 children who moved into a windmill and got the ghost of a handsome sea captain as a permanent resident in the process. Even though the show only aired 2 seasons, it developed a loyal following, and is not only Rita's best remembered television role, but was also that which made Hope Lang, who played the widow, a popular star. Just as in her roles in the Andy Griffith Show, the bulk of her work certainly contained no supernatural elements, but it is interesting to recognize that her 3 best remembered roles were in the productions Mary Poppins, The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, and The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, all of which involved comedic stories of the supernatural. And that is not even mentioning that she twice played Aunt Agatha on Bewitched, and her last film was Escape to Witch Mountain. That's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much. This week in Mayberry History, every week Randy brings us this great report, and he also does a daily dose of this. It's the Today in Mayberry History over at the Gomer and Goober Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild. If you want to make sure you don't ever miss one there on Facebook, you can email him at turnersgrade@gmail.com, and he will email you every day when he posts a message. So, Randy, thank you. Thank you for all that great information about Reta Shaw. As I was researching that, I found a really nice website about Reta. It's the website is a blog. It's called the Scott Rollins Film and TV Trivia blog, and it has really nice information about Reta. So I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can go and check it out. Some of the pictures that I showed during the video portion of the show came from this, and there's all kinds of extra information there as well. So you might want to go check that out if you're interested in Reta Shaw. So it's a really nice site. I'll have it in the show notes, a link to it. So again, I want to thank Randy. I want to thank all the hard work he does putting together the week in Mayberry History. It's always a lot of fun for me because I never know what it's going to be. He sends me the voice, the recording, and I get to hear it and enjoy it and get the pictures ready to go. So that's always a fun part for me because I don't have to do it. I just have to listen. So it's a lot of fun. So folks, hey, I would love to hear from you. If you're going to be at Mayberry Days, definitely make sure you drop by and say hi to Floyd. Make sure you do that. But if you're at Mayberry Days, I want you to file a report. You can call at 888-684-8415, and you can leave a message. If you don't want to do that, you can head over to twocairsnowaiting.com, click the contact button there at the top, and it's got all kinds of ways you can contact me. Email, just posting messages, lots of different ways. But I want to hear from you. Tell me about your experiences at Mayberry Days 2017, or if you've been to a Mayberry Days in the past and you had an experience you want to tell us about, I'd love to hear it. So definitely contact me. Folks, I hope I'll see you at Mayberry's. And until next time, I'll see you here on Two Chairs.